So good morning from the Argonne area in the north of France. We're here in the area where World War I took place, and we've been driving around here for a few days, and this is a place that actually made it to a movie called The Lost Battalion a few years ago. And this is the story of the 77th American Division that, as part of the offensive in October 1918, the last offensive of World War I, got surrounded by Germans here. They got stuck. They were not lost in that sense, but they got stuck on a little ridge here in the middle of what is now a forest. But what was then the front line between the Germans on that side and the French and the Americans on that side. And they were one of three divisions that actually made their target on the 2nd of October 1918, whereas the two divisions to their flanks had to retreat back to their trenches in the south. They got surrounded by the Germans here on this little hill, and they lasted for 5 days, surrounded by German machine gun posts that are up the ridge here, machine gun posts on the other side, and German soldiers on all sides. They held out for 5 days until they were relieved by another American division, but in those 5 days they lost about 2/3 of their men. 650 people in the 77th Division arrived here. Here they got stuck in the German machine gun fire, surrounded, and only 200 of them made it out. A very famous story, one of the many stories that took place right here in the red zone in the north of France. So let's have a look. You probably can't see it, but this is a pretty steep slope. It's about 30 degrees or something going down here all the way to the bottom. It's only 50 meters from here, but this is where the 77th Division held for a week in not as nice weather as it is today. Today is nice and sunny, but it was rainy, it was cold in October, with the Germans everywhere. And you can still see a little bit in the landscape. It's very difficult because, of course, it's more than 100 years later, but you still see the dugouts, maybe some of the craters by the heavy shelling that took place also in that week. They were hit by their own fire coming from the American artillery a few kilometers south from here. And you can still see it a little bit in the landscape. It's very difficult. It looks like a normal forest, but it's really an emotional story. This pigeon is called Cher Ami, so dear friend, and it was one of the carrier pigeons that they brought to send the message that the Americans were firing on their own troops. And this pigeon, with a little message, it got wounded while it flew up. It got shot by the Germans, but it still managed to bring its message to the American commander, who then stopped the shelling on their own men. And this bird became famous, and it was after the war. It died a few years later, and it's now in the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, stuffed, and you can visit her. Cher Ami. Have a look when you're in Washington, D.C. Go see her.